What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, USC football got a brand new recruit in a 4-star cornerback, Philip Riley Jr. He was once committed, I think, like just a week ago to Notre Dame, and then they were able to flip him, and he committed to the Trojans. So, it's even a bigger win recruiting-wise because you flipped a guy who was going to one of your rivals. So, definitely happy about that. I've always seen of him are pictures. For some reason, there's no highlights of him or anything online, so I have to wait till that comes out. But hopefully, USC will put out something to celebrate the occasion because it is a pretty big win for USC against Notre Dame. And then, yes, USC, they reported the last 3 weeks that they have had 0 positive COVID tests on their campus, which is really awesome, especially for the football team, because they're right now gearing up, start practicing heavily to be able to start in early November, the first game. Still don't know the schedule for some reason, but yeah, we'll see what these 6 to 7 games are going to be. And then a couple other USC Trojans in the NFL went down sadly to some injuries. Michael Pittman Jr., the rookie wide receiver for the Colts, he had some weird thing wrong with his leg. He had to have immediate surgery because I guess it could have been very bad for his leg. So as of right now, he's out indefinitely. They won't say how long, but it definitely seems like a whole season long thing, which sucks for him because he was about to get a lot of playing time, as I mentioned in my last video. Then Jarrell Casey, the defensive tackle, who somehow the Titans traded to Denver, even though I wanted him on my Chargers team for just a 6th round pick. I think it was either 6th or 7th. It sucked either way, but sadly he did tear his bicep, and I believe right now it's looking like he's going to be out for the full season as well, which sucks, but hopefully he gets a nice speedy recovery. He's a little bit older than most USC guys out there, but yes, hoping nothing for the best for Casey. And then also with a little bit of Chargers injury news themselves, before the game last weekend, they placed their star defensive end Melvin Ingram on IR, which is a little bit different this year. When the NFL teams do that, they can be on IR for just 3 to 4 weeks. Usually when a player is put on there, it was like 8 weeks, but nowadays they kind of just put them on there so they're able to bring up people from their practice squad or sign another free agent for that certain amount of time, and then eventually bring that guy back when he's healthy. So they put him, I think another defensive lineman, Justin Jones, down there as well on IR, and then Esmir Badal, a rookie linebacker from Notre Dame, they had on the injury reserve as well, but they brought up like offensive lineman Ryan Groy and who was the other guy, like a linebacker, Malik Jefferson as well. It's a guy I like, but definitely didn't seem like the Chargers' problems were defense. It was definitely their offense and execution at the end, of course, but I don't know if I'll get into that in this video or not because it's just too much crap to get into, but yeah, it just sucked. And then the Lakers, yes, they beat the Denver Nuggets over the weekend to advance to the NBA Finals. And yeah, it was great to see. It's the first time the Lakers have been back into the finals since 2010, I believe it is. And yeah, it's the 3rd team LeBron has brought to the finals, 3rd different team, which is pretty crazy. And yeah, they did great. I mean, most of the game they had a 10-point lead as they usually do, and then it got pretty close towards the end, but I think Denver only had the lead for like so many minutes throughout the whole game, and it happened late, but LeBron just went on a tear. I mean, he scored like 10, I saw like a point where he scored like 8 or 10 straight points, and he had 38 points, and Anthony Davis had over 20 as well. So like I said, over the 55 to 60, they're automatically gonna win, it seems like, and they did. And yeah, LeBron had 38 points, and I think he only hit that clutch 3 at the end. Other than that, it was old-fashioned 3-point plays and driving to the basket, getting layups, not even really any dunks, just like a lot of layups. He did have a triple-double as well, so he did his part in getting his players involved and scoring almost 40 points in that triple-double. So yeah, it was great. Obviously, he's not happy until he gets the championship. The Western Conference Finals is cool, but you know, he's here for the main NBA championship, and course, it has to be against his old team. I kind of would have preferred to play against Boston, just to have that Lakers-Boston rivalry in the finals. Would have been great. Plus, would have gotten to see ex-Duke for Jason Tatum. But yeah, the Lakers will get the Miami Heat. They ended up winning the following day. And of course, it's LeBron's old team, but also Pat Riley is the president over there too, who ex-coached the Lakers as well. There's a lot of back and forth stuff with a lot of these teams, so it'll be great to see. Should be a very interesting finals. Hopefully the Lakers can pull it out. It's definitely a tougher test than Denver or even Houston, even Portland were, but yeah, I don't expect this to be 4 or 5 games. If it is for either team, it would be pretty surprising. I expect this to go 6 to 7 games, just seeing how good the competition is and just how great LeBron has to be for this team to even be able to win a couple games. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. This should be happening tomorrow, Wednesday, so yeah, definitely a lot of fun, and hopefully the Lakers can pull it out. And yes, I forgot to report earlier that the Chargers starting cornerback Chris Harris, who they signed this offseason, was a great addition, but I guess he hurt his foot, so he's going to be out at least 6 to 8 weeks. It sucks. Another hit to their defensive starting rotation, so we'll see if they drafted correctly and have enough guys to step up, but yeah, we'll see, because they don't like making trades just for situations like this. But yeah, we'll see how they do. But both Jay Tufele and Elijah Vera Tucker, the 2 guys that opted out from USC football to train for the NFL draft, apparently with all this news, they still had a chance to come back and play this season, even though it's only for a couple games. But as of right now, even though the main quarterback is trying to get them to come back, it seems like they're still gonna stay out and not return to the team, which isn't surprising because they could be projected 1st and 2nd round draft picks, make a lot of money. So, well, I might as well look for your future. And yeah, I don't know if 7 games really going to help them go any higher, but I guess they're getting a lot of good feedback from the NFL. And then this ex-starting quarterback for the Chargers, Tyrod Taylor, looks like he's already scheduled to be out against Tampa Bay next Sunday. So it will be Justin Herbert's 3rd start. So we'll see what he can do. Not sure if it's on the road or not. I think it is in Tampa Bay, so it'll be Herbert's 1st road game. Tampa Bay has a pretty good defense. Yeah, they kind of sucked the week 1, but they've been pretty solid so far. Even I have Keenan Allen, the wide receiver from the Chargers, on my fantasy football team. I'm even thinking about not starting him this week just because of how good I think that defense is. But wait and see. And yeah, a little bit scared about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we'll get through it. And then Deontay Burnett, an ex-USC wide receiver, I mentioned a couple videos back that he was put on the practice squad for Philadelphia, but with all their injuries and how bad their wide receivers are, he was actually promoted to the starting lineup last weekend. So hopefully he can stay in there and, you know, get it going, because he is a pretty good wide receiver, especially when he was with Sam Darnold. And then Jason Tatum, sadly, once he got bounced out of the bubble due to the Miami Heat for Boston, he kind of is receiving some criticism just because he's been, you know, allotted and projected as the star for the Celtics, even though he isn't even like the 3rd or 4th highest paid player on that team. He gets all the criticism and blame, but of course when you're from Duke, that's what you get. But yeah, I don't know, I think he doesn't deserve 100% of the blame, because he kind of kept up his own end of the bargain for being a 3rd-year player, averaging almost 30 points, 7 assists to rebounds, 5 assists to rebounds a game. You know, he did his job. Like I said, there are a lot of other guys who were paid way more better than him and didn't even show up in a couple of those last games. So I think there should be blame to go all around instead of just him. But I mean, it's just his 3rd year. Like I said, he's going into his 4th year, so has the ability to sign that max extension, be another 5 years there. But telling you, I don't think he's gonna do it. He's gonna have to probably stay there 5 years because they have control of his rookie deal. But after that, if you don't hear any news about it, him signing an extension, I think he is gonna come to LA. Maybe even Phoenix, but definitely LA if there is room when LeBron leaves. Yeah, so that's it so far. And it's Dion Waiters, who is on the Lakers right now. He hasn't been getting much playing time because of an injury, but he is in kind of a weird situation because since he played for the Miami Heat earlier this year and was eventually let go in a trade, and now he's on the Lakers and both teams are in the NBA Finals, I think there is a possibility that he could end up with a ring either way, because there is some rule in the NBA stating that if anybody was a part of your team at any point during the season and you make it to the finals, even if they got cut a long time ago, they're allowed an NBA ring if you do win the championship, whether that's people behind the scenes or players as well. So yeah, either way, it seems like he's gonna get it. I don't know if he's gonna get paid by both teams. When you're in the finals, you get paid a pretty good amount players wise to be in there, but I guess Miami has a choice to want to pay him or not. But I mean, for not playing most likely in these finals and getting paid by both teams, and you're gonna get an NBA championship ring, it's kind of a sweet deal for a guy who's pretty up and down and trash. But yeah, I mean, you gotta thank his agent, I guess. So good luck to him, good luck to his fortune, and hopefully the Lakers are the ones that are offering him that ring. And that article mentions that Duke assistant coach John Shire, ex-player as well for Duke, is the #1 recruiter. Of course, a lot of these top talented guys are coming to Duke, not only for the school, the brand, but also Coach K. But there also has to be another in-between person, especially of a younger generation, to be able to talk to these younger guys as well. And John Shire is definitely one of the better guys. Whenever Coach K decides to hang it up, I think he should be definitely top 2 or 3 guys they look at to be the main head coach, if that's what he wants, to be the head coach of Duke. I just think he's going to be great. He could be the next Brad Stevens, a young guy who was at Butler and then is right now with the Boston Celtics, but he could start young at a school and stay there forever if he wants to. But the NBA will always be there, but he's definitely a Duke homer, and that's what I'm happy about. And it's always up on these guys, making sure they're doing good. So definitely think he could be a great head coach for Duke in the near future, in my opinion. Then a lot of USC players did excellent. A lot of the same usual suspects, as you can say. There was a meeting of the USC legends. Matt Barkley was the backup for Buffalo, and then on the Rams, it was his favorite target, one of the all-time leading receivers at USC, Robert Woods, playing for the Rams, and it was great. Barkley did not get in, but Woods, he balled. He had over 100 yards, total scrimmage yards, and a touchdown as well for the Rams. And then once again, Malcolm Smith, the late addition to the Browns roster, he did have another interception as well for them, which is great to see him doing well and doing his stuff right there in Cleveland. And then also Juju Smith-Schuster, the wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had about 40 yards and a touchdown. I more know of that because he is on my fantasy team. I of course wish he had more, but as long as you're getting me around 50 yards and a touchdown, it's all good for fantasy. And then yes, Sam Darnold had definitely the play of the week in my opinion as well, according to the USC Athletics Instagram page. It was a great play. I mean, it's always going to look like a great play because of how crappy the team around him is. He has to run around and do all this stuff, and it ends up throwing a touchdown pass. I can't believe if the Jets are going to be picking top 2 or 3, and then there's Trevor Lawrence, the one in a million type of quarterback guy coming out of Clemson in the next year's draft, and they end up drafting him and trying to go with him over Sam Darnold. I just think it's crazy because it's the organization's fault for not putting a great enough team around Darnold, especially offensive line wise. And I just think it's a great opportunity for the Chargers to swoop in at any time to be able to get Darnold. And I think even with their crappy offensive line as well, he'd be a lot better in LA than he would be in freaking New York. But that's just my opinion. It could be a steal, but I don't know. I just hope positive things happen. And then even the now USC players, they've been staying ready, staying hungry during this hiatus. They gotten healthy as well, especially guys like quarterback Keaton Slovis and his wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, it's just crazy how young this team is. Those two guys who are always in the spotlight. The quarterback is only a sophomore right now. He was a freshman last year when he played, and then the wide receiver was only a sophomore last year. Now he's only a junior. So a lot of underclassmen, as they call it in college, you know, leading your team, especially a team like USC. It's just weird how we don't have a lot of senior leadership, but these guys are definitely the next up-and-coming guys, and we'll hopefully be able to do something when November 6th comes around. Hopefully be able to run the table, be undefeated, and see if you get in the college football playoff, the Final Four. And yeah, all you can do is win your games and see what the committee says, and hopefully they'll be able to put up good numbers as well. And then to end this video, have Grayson Allen, well, two of my favorite Duke players, of course. JJ Redick is the main reason why I started liking Duke all the way back in 2005, 2006. And he now has a podcast that he puts up on YouTube. And one of his most recent guests was Grayson Allen, my second favorite Duke player of all time. And yeah, they talked about everything, including tripping incidents, a lot of the meltdowns a couple of the meltdowns that Grayson Allen had while at Duke, and his success so far of being on Memphis, and his time with Utah, and just everything in general that they all went through was great to hear and great to see. Definitely a good interview if you want to check it out. But if you're a Duke hater, then I'm pretty sure you're not going to be at all interested. But yeah, it was great to see those guys. Obviously had to throw up his amazing dunk that he had against UNLV. But yeah, it was definitely go check it out. And yeah, great to see two of my favorite players shooting the shit, as they say, and talking basketball and Duke basketball as well. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Right on.